Well, hey guys, I'm a little overdue for an update. So today I thought I'd sit down and talk with you about what's been going on down here in the basement in the fish room. So ran into a little bit of trouble with my 120, as you see here, and that really kind of sidetracked me over the past couple months. So I don't want to make this a long video. I'll tell you kind of briefly what happened. Basically, I got some sick fish somewhere along the way. In this tank I had a group of red empress, a small group of red top hongi, and I had 15 yellowtail ACI. So again, to make a long story short, the fish started to get sick, and with some help from a couple of good people in the hobby, it took a little while to kind of troubleshoot what was going on, and it took a little while to figure out the best way to cure the fish. And in the process, I ended up losing 18 fish in this tank. So it was quite the ordeal. That kind of went on for about a month, and the few surviving fish that I had in this tank, I ended up leaving them in there for an additional month just to make sure that everything was okay in the tank before I added anything else. So then what I decided to do was I took those remaining fish and I removed them from the tank, and I just decided to start fresh again. So one of the fish that I wanted to have for breeding and also in my display tanks was yellowtail ACI, and unfortunately I lost that whole group of 15. So I went out and I purchased another group of 15, and what I ended up doing was I just put 5 in this tank, and they've been in this tank for just about 3 weeks now, and I put the other 10 in my 29 gallon, and I just kept them in here, just wanted to make sure that there was no signs of sickness, that everything was tip-top in the tank. And so far these guys are doing fantastic. Hopefully by the end of the week I'm going to add the rest of the ACI to this tank, and then a little while after I can start adding some of the other fish that I have down here. So that kind of takes care of what's been happening with the fish, and that's kind of why I've been a little bit slow at showing you guys some of the things that have been going on here in the fish room. So let's talk a little bit about the skate. If you remember in my previous videos, I had some different rock in this tank, and I kind of thought that it didn't look like the tank was full enough. I didn't have enough rock to kind of do the 120, so decided to take it out, and I just went with my lava rock that I've had for quite a long time. And you know, it's lava rock is great for the mbunas. It seems to work really well for me, but ultimately I am going to end up changing the scape in this tank. This is just temporary for now, and unfortunately it's cold and snowy, so it's not really the greatest time to get out and do some rock hunting. But I'd like this to kind of be a little bit more of a natural looking tank, so I do plan on changing it somewhere down the road. But for right now, I think it's going to do just fine, and it looks fairly good, so I'm happy with it. And eventually when the weather warms up a little bit, I'll get out and I'll find something else to add to this tank. So that kind of does it for the 120. I just wanted to move around to all the other tanks in the fish room and show you kind of what I have. So I'm just gonna detach the camera here and we'll go and take a little tour. Alright, so let's start here with the 40 breeders, and in the bottom tank I just have a group of some OB peacocks and a couple of OB dragon bloods. So these guys are doing really well. They were given to me by a good friend of mine, and I'm not really sure what I'm going to do with these guys yet. I really enjoy them. There's a couple in here that are really nice looking, so I'm not sure, but right now they're happy in this tank here. As you can see, the two OB dragon bloods, they're kind of in a little spot in the corner there. Those guys kind of rule the tank and you know, kind of drive everybody around, trying to control everything, but nobody's really getting injured or beat up, so far the group's doing really good. and just enjoy watching these guys. And I've had them since they were pretty small, so kind of nice watching them grow up. So that's this tank. And then up here in the top 40 breeder, I have a group of Pseudotropheus interruptus, and this group is the first generation from wild caught. I have 3 males and 8 females, so these guys are doing quite nice. I think what I'm going to end up doing is putting these guys in a 75 or 90 gallon, the other display tank, when I do get it set up. But for right now, they're doing good in the 40 breeder, and they're starting to breed, and you know, everybody's happy and healthy. So these guys are really nice. When the male gets chasing the females, he gets all blazed up, and he has quite a nice pattern on him and some nice color to him. So really happy with these guys. It's nice to have a group that has you know, 2 nice colored fish with you know, a yellow female and the blue male. So that's these 2 tanks, and we'll just move over here to the 75s. And in the bottom here, I have a group of albino redfin zebra. So I've had these guys for a long time, probably had them since May, and they've bred a lot and grown up. And the one male, there he comes out now, he's really good looking male, and he's the dominant male, so he's been doing all the breeding, and I have lots of fry from those guys. I'm not sure if I'm gonna keep the group long term. I'd like to have a few more females for this group, and the other 2 males that I have, they're not the best looking. The one male is really nice, but the other 2, they're okay. So not sure. I'm going to keep them for now, but might find something else down the road that I like a little bit better. The other group of fish I have in here is a group of Seleuci, and again with this group, they look alright, and they're going to look nice in somebody's tank, but I just don't think they're top quality for breeding. So I'm probably going to end up not keeping that group. But for right now, I'm going to keep them. Everybody's happy and healthy in this tank, and everybody gets along really well. Also have a few other miscellaneous fish in here, including a nice male red top hongi, which you can probably see there just kind of over the rocks at the bottom there. And this guy is going to a buddy of mine who has a small group of females and I believe a couple males. So just kind of holding on to that guy for my buddy. And a couple other miscellaneous fish that they're probably not going to stick around, but they're doing all right right now, and you know, the tank is full and everybody's happy, so I'm not in a huge hurry to move these guys. So then we go up here to the top 75, and in this tank I have a lot of red fin albino growing out, and I've been selling these guys. This is the biggest ones that I have, so they're doing well here in the 75. Also have a really nice group of electric yellows, and those guys are going to be moved over into the 120 eventually, and really happy with these guys. Again, they're first generation from wild caught. We're lucky enough to have someone who can import from the lake fairly close by, about an hour and a half from my home. So these are the fry from his wild group, which is quite nice, and they're absolutely gorgeous. So really happy to pick these guys up. I was looking around for some electric yellows and just couldn't pull the trigger on buying any that I found around. There were some nice ones, but always seemed to find something that I didn't like about the group. But this group here, you know, really happy to have them. They're just beautiful, beautiful fish. And of course, if you're breeding, it's always good to have electric yellows. I love them, and you know, people are always interested in buying them for their tanks. So really happy to have that group. Also have a group of lithobates, yellow blaze, and they're just young guys. I have 3 males and I believe 8 females, and growing those guys up from really small. I believe they're a German strain, and they've definitely been selectively bred just to kind of you know, enhance the blaze on them. And the one on the left here that's swimming over, he's the dominant male, and he's quite beautiful. So my plans are just to kind of grow these guys out, and I'm going to decide whether I want to keep them as a breeding group or if I'm just going to sell them. But really nice fish, and you know, it'll be interesting to see what they look like when they get you know, a nice size. So again, everybody's happy in here and doing well. I just can't wait to kind of get the 120 stocked and get those labs moved over. And I'm probably going to put the lithobates in the 120 as well. So that's the plan, and we'll see what happens. So let's move on to a couple of the other tanks. I'm just going to switch on some lights so we can see. So here in the 29, I have the remaining yellowtail ACI, and I picked these guys up from my local fish store. I've always liked the quality of their ACI. They get them from Florida, and they were nice enough to give me a pretty good deal on them after finding out what happened to the first group. So in the breeder boxes, I have some albino redfin zebra, and I also have a few interruptus. And I also have a few interruptus in the egg tumbler. So the ACI will be ready to move over to the 120. Hopefully I'll get to that this weekend. And then down here in my 10 gallons, sorry guys, but I don't have any lights hooked up on these tanks. But I have a bunch of albino redfin zebra growing out. So these guys are doing well. And then in the top two 10s, on the right hand side, I have a male albino redfin zebra. And this guy, I can put him in the 75, but 3 males just seems to be too much, and he does get picked on a little bit. So he's been pretty happy just hanging out here in the 10 gallon. And then a group of fish that I have in here, I just picked these up last weekend. And these guys are called Pseudotropheus elongatus lingonjala. So really happy to find these guys. They're a beautiful fish. Don't seem to be too common around my area. Let's just see if we can get a better shot. Having a little bit of trouble with this group. I picked them up off of just a private breeder, and I think these are F2s. So hoping to grow them out and hoping to add them to the 120. But this group here, there's kind of a few different sizes in the group, and I noticed a few of them are kind of getting nipped up a little bit, and they're also having a little bit of trouble eating. So not sure exactly what I'm going to do. I kind of want to separate them a little bit, and you know, just to kind of see what happens. But first off, I want to make sure that they're all healthy before I move them in with some of my other fish. So they're a little bit of a project, but they're doing okay. They're coming along. So see what happens with these guys. So just wanted to go and give you just a little bit more of a close-up of some of the tanks, and that's just going to conclude the video. So again, here's the ACI group. They have some really nice color to them. Very active. Everyone's nice and healthy. Quick shot of the breeder boxes, and we'll just move over to the 75 gallons. Give you a nice look at the lithobates and some of the fish we have growing out here. As you can see, these males here, they have some really nice color. Some really beautiful yellow labs. And of course the redfin albino zebra. And then down here we have the Seleuci and the albino redfin zebra group. There's the nice dominant male. These are really pretty fish. Quick look at the Seleuci group. And right in the middle there, that's my red top hongi. He's a pretty fish. Turned out to be really, really nice. He used to be the boss in here until I put the albino redfin zebra in, and the dominant male just kind of put him in place. So, but he's still showing some really nice color. And then we'll move over here to the Interruptus group and see some nice yellow females, and the male's just coming out there. That's the dominant male. It's a really pretty fish. He's not displaying his full colors right now, but really enjoying these guys. And you know, I have a nice another holding female right in the back there. So she's only been holding for a few days, but going to strip her you know, probably later on this week. And then down here we have the OBs. The camera's gonna focus, so you can see some pretty nice looking ones, that's for sure. Really enjoy these guys. And then just one more quick shot of the 120. You can see my 5 ACI. Those guys are having a blast in here. Lots of room to swim. Been feeding them pretty heavily, just trying to fatten them up and get them healthy. They were pretty thin when I got them, but everybody is doing really well. So yeah, that's going to wrap up the update. Hope it's not too long for you guys, but you know, it's really nice to finally have things kind of moving forward now, and you know, starting to find some fish that I want to keep, and getting the tanks filled and starting to get some breeding going. So slowly but surely things are moving forward. So I just want to thank you guys for watching the video, and we'll see you again in the next update.